Great. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, to all places wherever you are on this earth. So, I welcome you all again back to our live concerts, live cohorts, actually, where we talk about every time a new topic where we want you to learn more, we want you to connect with us, and we want you to explore more opportunities out there, right? So, in one such opportunity today, we have Mitul Patel with us. And I, Manika Goel, I'm hosting her today to understand and talk more about Salesforce communities. So before I go there, I would like to welcome you all again from Forsac Academy and IntelliCloud Solutions to this amazing Trailblazer community. Uh, I would say talk show today with Mitul, and we are going to talk about her experiences with India Dream in 2023 and what actually went behind the scenes during India Dream in 2023. So I'm happy to host Mitul. So let me just give you a little bit background about Mitul. So Mitul has overall 8 years of experience, and she is a CPQ expert, and she has worked with a couple of companies, and now she is a independent consultant. She has her own company called as Cloud Consult, and she is running the show like a full woman power show, right, Mitul? So, so I'll just yes. So I'll just give you a brief about today's session as well. So we will be talking all about India Dream in 2023 and how does Salesforce communities, the Trailblazer communities, how being a Trailblazer actually helps you get on there. And if you are looking to be part of this community, be an organizer of any such event, here is what you will listen out to the experiences from the large and the huge and the immense event. I would say extraordinary event that we had in India Dream in 2023 at Ahmedabad. So I personally attended one. This was my first large event for Trailblazer community that I attended. It was absolutely amazing, very well organized, and the kind of energy that the day had, the place had, and the people had there was actually humongous. So I really enjoyed every bit of the day. So Mitul, over to you. If you can just talk about yourself, that what you have been doing, and what what has been your Salesforce journey so far, and what made you actually get into Salesforce.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Manika. I'm very grateful to you and your team. And I want to thank each and every trailblazer who has joined today. And that is the first step that you yourself are taking in order to, get things started and do something unique from other trailblazers out there. So absolutely, thank you for tuning in today. Um, so I started my journey with a company called Aptus, which is a product company and which was native to Salesforce at that point in time. And that is where my Salesforce ecosystem journey started. And I started as a technical writer. So when I was in college, just like any student, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I didn't want to get into a herd of, the web development or anything that was very common in that point in time. So I wanted to do something unique and cool and, some techno functional, because I definitely knew I cannot code. So that was out of my picture at that point in time as well. So I started my journey as a technical writer, eventually moved to the professional services team as a configuration engineer, then a business analyst. At that point in time, I switched companies. I went into Days Works, and that is where I learned to multiple hats, multiple roles like project manager, business analyst. I was also promoted as a head of demo engineering, where I was looking at pre-sales and sometimes sales and all. So it had been a very interesting journey. I got to learn everything, and again, apart from coding. So I'm like not anti-coding. You definitely need a developer everywhere, every time. But that was not my forte, and I couldn't do that. So I I pretty much did everything apart from coding. And even in today's time, whenever I meet college students, I've seen so many people who are like ma'am, I really don't know coding, but I don't know where to get started. And that is where I tell them about my journey, and they get inspired and they do a lot of stuff as well ahead. And eventually, as you said, I started my own company in this year itself, in Jan 2023. It's called Cloud Consult, and we are catering to pretty much all small size, mid size, and certain enterprise level customers as well. And it has been a combination, I would say, of community and the professional life, because that is something that keeps you going all the time. And community is so ingrained in Salesforce ecosystem that you cannot ignore that part. And if you ignore it, that's fine. There are so many people who just do their jobs, but at the same time there are people who have gotten involved in the community and they have grown 10x, like literally 10x. I've seen, and I myself am one of the examples in that case. So definitely community rocks.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's more like lead by example. And I think even during my counseling sessions, Mitul, I mean, I'll tell you an interesting thing that when I talk to students around, right? So they do ask that, ma'am, I don't know coding. Can I pick up a role? I absolutely say yes. And that's where, so guys, here we have Mitul, who is like one of the role models like that, who didn't have, who is a low code kind of a person, low code no code kind of a person, and is kind of doing very well in the Salesforce ecosystem, right? So Mitul, I mean, I was very curious to know that what exactly is India Dream In, and what is India Dream In 2023 that you had incepted, right? So India Dream In, and then how did we come to like 2023 version of it, edition of it?
Absolutely. So I'll just start from basics. Like, you have Dreamforce, which is absolutely like the dream of any person in the Salesforce ecosystem who wants to attend that conference, and it's by Salesforce. So you have your customers, your partners, and freelancers, and so many people coming in, and it happens in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Then you have the Salesforce World Tours, or Salesforce TDX, Trailhead DX, all such events that are organized by Salesforce. Then you have two more conferences or types of events that are there. One is the Dream In conference. So Dream In conference is a community-led, community-run conference, which is for the community. And then you have meetups that are more at a local level. So let's say if you have Ahmedabad, you have Ahmedabad Women in Tech group, developer group, and all such groups, which organize like probably monthly or bi-monthly meetups. So coming to India Dream In, it's India Dream In 23 is a Dream In conference, and India Dream In as well is led by the community, run by the community, and it's for community. So we started India Dream in 2017. It was founded by Shivnath Devinarayan and Vinay Chaturvedi. And we did the first conference that had around 1,700 attendees. Then we did India Dream In 18, which had 2,200 attendees. And that is where I was part as a core member as well. I was managing all the sponsorships and throughout the day as well. It was a 2-day conference actually. And then we did India Dream In 23. Of course, it was a huge gap, and provided we had COVID and everything since 19. So we didn't get a chance to, do something huge. And then at the same time, we were going through a rough, or I would say a difficult economic conditions where we weren't expecting like so many people would come. So that was like an honest thing that was happening in the beginning itself. So we decided to do India Dream In 23 in Ahmedabad, because whenever I go to any events, you always have that, your love for your hometown. And my hometown is Ahmedabad. And whenever I go to any events, I would be like, I want to organize something huge in my own hometown. And that is where the idea came in, wherein we did Meetathon in 2022. And it was a combination of meetups and hackathon. So we did something huge, and that was unique at that level. And at that point in time, we thought of doing, let's do a Dream In conference next year. And then we started all our, like legwork and foundation work. And that is where someone suggested, why don't you take up an existing event and do that
Yeah.
rather than creating something from scratch? Because you get all your models and it's
Mhm.
already tried and trusted, you have a brand built up. So
Right.
we reached out to Shiv and Vinay, and that is where we reached out to other core team members as well, and we collectively agreed to do India Dream in 23. And the reins were basically given into my hands at that point in time.
Wow, that's awesome. So I think that's where it all kind of it's so interesting to hear about that. So guys, I think from this you can also get yourself inspired by uh, joining the local meetups and think about something big so you can make it happen in your own city. So definitely we are there. So the Trailblazer community is there, backs you up, right? So I think it's the love for hometown that actually inspired you to get India Dream in 2023 there and being the chairperson and uh, getting on toes to organizing the event at such a large scale. So this scale actually, how did you arrive at that number that I should have like about 600? No, I think it was 1,000 people, right?
1000 plus, yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
initially we actually thought we'll have somewhere around 700, and that was a safe bet, like,
Yeah.
because we weren't over committing and we weren't under committing as well. But then eventually when we started all the announcements, we had gotten all the trailblazers involved, and the speakers and the sponsors were so humongous and so nicely supportive about everything. And it turned out really well that we had to increase the number of seats, and things luckily turned out pretty well at that point in time. And as I said, we were like going through difficult times this year in terms of economic breakdown. So we actually had, it was a bit challenging to get all the sponsors, but the sponsors that we had this year, everyone was so supportive, and they were like, we aren't looking for any ROI, to be honest, but it's just we're supporting the community. And that is where it's more heart touching, because whenever even you invest as a person or as a company, you always think about the ROI that's coming out of it. But versus this year, it was like everyone was coming from the bottom of their hearts and saying that we're doing this for the community. And that is where the speakers also, some were like just traveling, they were making their personal plans, they were tearing it apart, and they were coming for India Dream In, because it was actually happening after 5 years.
Correct, correct. No, absolutely. I think that was wonderful. So, Mithun, let's talk about some of the challenges now that happened behind the scenes while you were trying to organize it. So, what kind of different level of challenges that you faced there really in terms of getting the people there, getting volunteers, maybe anything, sponsors? Just let's talk about your experience on that.
Right. So challenges were majorly one, as I said, with the sponsors. And that was like nicely supported. Eventually, when everyone came together, it worked well.
Mhm.
The second challenge was the place, because everyone, like City Ahmedabad, of course, is tier two, but and until now, it always happened in Noida. So all other companies were like majorly based out of Noida or anywhere places near to them. So they would expect more people, and of course the attendees also matter, right? If you do the same event in Noida, you would expect around 2000 or 2500 people at least, and at the same time when you do it in Ahmedabad, 1000 is also a good crowd, so that was a challenge, but we eventually overcame it by telling them, like, COVID has of course changed all the priorities and how we work and everything. And all the companies that you see right now are majorly working remotely or in a hybrid way. Then why cannot we do an event in a city or tier two city where people are not there? Eventually, if you're going for an event, whether you go to Noida or Ahmedabad, it, again, the distance might be different from where you stay, but eventually who is coming from out of city has to go to a city anyways. So
Right.
that was how we convinced so many people coming out there, even the speakers and sponsors. And of course, so many people told us that it will not work out with the sponsors, but it worked very well actually.
Right. So it's, I think, the community power that worked up very well there, and actually, I think Ahmedabad is also becoming a hub for Salesforce now, right? So after Jaipur, it's Ahmedabad, I think.
Right. So I think there were different phases, like in terms of Salesforce. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
think about IT hub, there's always Bangalore and Pune and all that. But when you think about Salesforce, it started from Hyderabad, and then it came to
Gurgaon, I
Bangalore,
think.
Pune,
Mm.
Noida is always there. Then it's moving out to Jaipur and now Ahmedabad and maybe more of other cities. And I would definitely love to see more of them to be like tier 2 or tier 3 cities expanding.
Right.
And the main reason that I see behind is uh, many people were staying in Bangalore or Pune before and they moved out to their hometown because of the COVID and everything that happened. And now people are eventually getting like accustomed with that. Why not work from home when
Mm.
it's working? So now they themselves went to their hometowns and started expanding there, which is now maybe either starting a company or starting groups, which is now actually more beneficial for the Salesforce ecosystem.
Yes, absolutely right. So Mitul, like, how did you work through creating awareness about the event, doing promotions around it? So what were the few things that you actually that helped you and you had incorporated specifically to do these promotions?
So the first thing I would always suggest would be creating your own team.
Mm-hmm.
So we had literally our dream team of core team members who worked effortlessly days and nights. And each of them were given different departments. So, like, someone's working on marketing, someone's working on logistics,
Mm-hmm.
someone is looking at everything overall. Then we had marketing team that was being led by Varnata and Shivani. And these guys did an amazing job. I mean, if we talk about statistics, we started with around 323 followers on LinkedIn. And then today, probably we have 2000 plus. So that was like huge achievement because our major focus was marketing. And we ingrained every trailblazers out there because we wanted to give them a feel of, India Dream In is my event. And I directly or indirectly contributed to the success of India Dream In. So
Mm-hmm.
what we did is, if you are an individual, you can register as a volunteer or a brand ambassador. So you can basically promote the event. If you are a social media channel, like, there are so many YouTube channels nowadays, like Salesforce Geeks and Salesforce World. So we connected with these guys in we joined hands with them and they were our partners. We connected with so many companies, of course, for being sponsors. We had an NGO partner as well, which was Sense International India. So we typically engage pretty much everyone into becoming a part of it. And we did promotions. We did the banners, basically Facebook banners or Twitter banners and everything. And those were our like great steps. Of course, our speakers and sponsors did a great job in uh, telling everyone that, we are going here, do register, do attend. Everyone created great amount of videos. So all these things together came into a great way. And of course, the consistency in
Yeah.
posting, that was most important because we had a great marketing calendar.
Mhm.
We were posting pretty much every day sometimes, and later at the later stage, I remember we were doing like 5 or 6 posts a day.
And,
So consistency was the key at that point in time, and including everyone in your entire plan.
right, right, absolutely. That's wonderful. Can you talk about some of the memorable events or that memorable moments that you had during the entire event and any specific achievements that you want to talk about? I think yes, reach of the people was definitely there. But what apart from that and any memorable moment that you want to share with people?
So the best part was the entire core team coming together even before the events. There were like so
Mm-hmm.
many sessions that we had done, the brainstorming sessions, both virtual and in person. And that is where we brought in experience of each core member into the entire event. Like we would sit literally for 4 to 5 hours at a stretch. We would talk about which events have you attended, and tell us about what was your experience, what were pros, what were cons, what did you like, what did you not like, what did you think should have been done in a better way. So we combined experiences of all these people, and we came up with a plan. And of course there were like good amount of uh, like hiccups that come at the runtime that were being handled, but we were lucky enough to have a great event management team as well. And that was important, because if you want to have sleepless nights, you definitely need an event manager in your like huge events. So that is one thing. Apart from that, the most memorable part was like everyone was posting their own personal story of what were their takeaways from India Dream In. And that was heart touching, because uh, they would say that I met this person, this had been my role model, and I got to meet this person today. And I started my journey with XYZ's videos, and today is when I met him or her.
Right.
And then there were so many people who were coming to India Dream In from out of India,
Yeah.
and they were like, we came here, we had a great experience. So all these comments, when you put together, and it definitely brings out what everyone has gained or achieved out of India Dream In, and that's the most fulfilling part. And I typically remember Rohan Singh, who is from Salesforce, but he was so attached to India Dream In because he was part of the Copado community, and he was part of the Salesforce community. And he was pushing each and everyone in Salesforce, probably. So you remember we had the initial video that we had, and we pretty much had the senior Salesforce team coming in and talking about India Dream In. Like that was the best part, of course, because
Yeah.
you would not imagine these people knowing about India Dream In, wherein they were like so excited about, we have gathered here, and India Dream In is the event you should go to, and all that. So that was definitely one of the most memorable time for me. And it was how everyone came in and joined hands together to help us out. There were so many people like Kavindra Patel, Gaurav Khetarpal, there were Shiv and Vinay, who were involved in so much in keeping this event in a very nicer way, because it's not only runtime, you need to have that a lot of brainstorming sessions, and they were basically guiding us that, you know what, this event, this happened, so don't do that, do this, do that. So all everything basically coming together was as a huge memory as such, when you think about it right now.
Right. So I think you can have something where you can share your lessons learned so that people can kind of take you from there. And when they are kind of into, uh, they carry the legacy forward, right? So they are able to use those learnings ahead and kind of have that documented somewhere. I think that would be great.
Absolutely. So I have a long list of all the blogs that I'm going to write, but I definitely
Don't get
will do something in
that.
July. For sure, because I also thought of writing a blog on how did we select the topics in India Dreaming, because that is something that would be helpful to everyone. Because as we all of us submit a lot of call for proposals every time, and what one of the major mistakes that we do, it's very vague. Like if I want to do something about marketing cloud, I'll just say that 10 tips of marketing cloud. So as a selector, no one's going to select the topic because it's very vague. If you dive into specifics, if you give them exact takeaway, that is where you will also be selected. So I want to write such a blog wherein I can share my experience of selecting the topics, and it will probably help every trailblazer out. And I'll definitely write a blog on the learnings and the takeaways as an organizer. So
Right.
yes, that's something coming up.
Right. I think that's a very good point that you brought up about selecting the topic, because that is where actually it gives a value to the attendees. that if they are coming and they are able to gain at least 2 sessions and attend, I mean, out of whatever sessions they're attending, if they're at least able to get 2 topics in their mind and take it back with them, it's amazing, right? So apart from like, so what were the things that you ensured to get that value to the attendees actually?
So, one golden rule we dived into was, if I am walking into India Dream in 23, how
Mhm.
do I want to be treated, or what do I want to do? So we literally sat in a group at Starbucks. That was our favorite place to meet. And so what all of us would do is, start with, let's say, Manju, if she's there, and then she would start talking about her experience, that, I would have a good registration experience.
Yes,
I
yes.
would want a good eating experience, like that was something what we see even at many events. Like, food is some like last part or ignored part of it, wherein you
Right.
would not enjoy food. But here we also took care of the food, because we know it's a full day event, everyone's going to be hungry. And so we did great in that as well. We heard so many great comments about, the food was great. And this is like, so many people came out and told us that this is the first conference where we had delicious food. So that is something that we sat and, we talked about what each and everyone wants. And of course, you cannot do everything, you have to set up a priority. But that is how we got into the best experience that we tried to give. And again, the first and foremost thing is, someone is investing time in you. If you, Manika, are coming to India Dream in 23, you are investing time, and not only of the day's event, but you also have to consider the pre and the post, the travel part. If you're investing so many hours into it, we want to ensure that you get the best out of it. You get the best content, you get the best connections, and you get a chance to give back also. And that is where our theme was: upskill, network, and give back. So we wanted to stick to our theme and the roots, and that is how we got the best experience to our attendees.
Superb, superb, superb. That's amazing. So, I mean, just one more thing. I think that were there any speaker stories or attendee stories that actually had a huge impact on you, where which actually left you thinking even now that this is something that I would actually be doing, or maybe anything that you experienced on that part.
Actually, I cannot recall like a single story, but there are so many stories out there. Which, but
So if you're naming one, it'll be difficult, right? So people
I
ping
know.
you and ask, you didn't talk about me.
And then I don't want to be, like called up or messaged up saying that you didn't talk about my story. Just kidding on that part. But yeah, so as I said earlier, like overall experience and overall that satisfaction that you get by organizing an event is one. All the core members, all the volunteers, all the brand ambassadors were part of it. They actively took part in, doing everything. And then when you talk about all the speakers, I
Mhm.
saw like literally pretty much everyone posting about it. Someone coming from the US after maybe 23 years or something, and then getting the best out of India Dream In. Anyone traveling from India itself coming to Ahmedabad, getting that best feeling. So it was a combination of all the stories of speakers and attendees. And I think we should pretty much do a video of that as well, wherein we just post all the stories and that everyone has posted, and maybe that will give you a feel of how successful India Dream In was overall.
No, no, it was amazing. Actually, even now, you go back and sometimes there are tags which actually come along. So you get a ping on LinkedIn. Yes, someone has posted, someone has liked that, and then you actually, even I start recalling, okay, whom all did I meet there, and how was my experience as a speaker? How was my experience as the whole program? Right, it was amazing. Yes.
Right. And just a couple of days back, I still got a message from one of the attendees, and she was a speaker as well. I think Shriya, you must know her. So she just messaged me that, Mitul, I want to thank you again for what you have done for India Dream In, because, and it's almost pretty much 2 months out of it, right? Yes, 2 months almost. So we were like, these are the things that keep you going, that inspires you to do more. And at the end of the day, it's everything that you do for the community. It's like, this was the most thing that I talked about as well, that it's not a paid job that you're doing, not
So,
and not one any of the core members or volunteers or brand ambassadors. It's everything out of passion, and it's everything about getting recognized and the credibility that you give to a person. And that is the most rewarding thing that we get out of the entire thing that we have done. And that is what we also love to give to people, because that is what keeps them going as well.
correct. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So, if we can talk about the power of community and why should one be part of the community, right? I think all this while we have been talking about that, how do we go about our lessons learned around that? But people who are coming new to Salesforce, why should be they part of the community? Why should they attend the local user group sessions? Why should they attend the local events that may be happening? So soon we have uh, developer days coming up in Pune, Bangalore, and other two locations, right? So what is the power of community? If you want to explain in your own words.
So one thing is, you stay connected with what's happening, what's latest, what's trending. For example, the latest one that we are having is generative AI meetups that are happening all across the
All
globe.
across, yes.
So currently, if you just sit at home and search for anything, you'll probably get a limited knowledge. But when you go to these local meetups and you meet your like-minded people, that is where, if I talk to you, Manika, it will be like, hey, you know what, I read about XYZ on generative AI, and then you come up with five more things and we discuss, and someone else will join into the discussion. And the place where you probably learn three things on the internet, you will learn 30 when you meet people out there.
Meet people, yeah.
So one thing is gaining more knowledge out of experience again, because on the internet it's mostly people blogging things or talking about those things that are mostly from a beginner's perspective or a mid-level perspective. But when
Mhm.
you come here to the meetups, you'll probably meet so many people who have like 25 years of experience or 15 years of experience, and that is where you learn from the experience as well.
Right.
So increasing, or more knowledge than the internet, you obviously make that human connection with the people out there, which helps you grow not only personally and professionally, but from a community perspective as well. And the reason is, if you look at someone who is speaking as a speaker in the meetup, you'll probably be inspired to speak at a local meetup than a Dream In conference, than probably someday at Dreamforce. So probably all these things help you grow 10x. And I've seen so many people helping each other out personally as well. For example, when COVID was out there, we had a couple of our WIT members who were helping each other out for the vaccines and for the injections. Like the mucormyces, they were like 100 injections that had to be given. So people were helping each other out with through
Okay.
the community connections in such bad times as well. And I've seen their bond growing so strong nowadays that they're pretty much everywhere along with it together with each other. So these are the types of things that you'll gain from attending a local meetup. So it's a combination of personal, professional, and a community experience. And you should definitely attend all the local meetups, because it's not only about helping others, but it's also helping yourself.
Yourself, right? Absolutely. Yes, yes. I think that is what we carry ahead. I mean, even talking at the local user groups here, it's amazing experience because that is more interactive. That is more, I would say it's a closer group, right? So you get to know each other better there in the local user groups. And those are actually more informative sessions because they're more interactive actually.
Right.
Right. So that's amazing. So I think let's try to wrap it up in kind of a good this thing that what are your advice to people who are intending to take the legacy forward of arranging the events out there as big as Dreamin or as big as contributing as a volunteer to maybe a Salesforce event or anything in their capacity, whatever their capacity is, right? So what
Right.
would be your advice to aspiring event organizers and those who are kind of interested in getting into community?
There are three things that I would love to share with them. The first one is figure out your why. Like my interest or my why part was I loved giving a platform to people to grow. And that is why I started Ahmedabad Women in Tech Group as well. And because I had that, passion or that why part, because I want to give a platform, I combined it with my dream of bringing it to my hometown. And that is why eventually I did this something huge called India Dream In. And it was, again, it's not only I, that was literally entire village who helped me out. So that brings me to the second point, which is build your dream team.
Yeah.
So one is figure out your why. Second is build your dream team. And third is just be an attendee first and
Absolutely.
understand how do you want to be treated, and then you treat others in the same way. It's same like being in a relationship, right? Any relationship, it can be mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever. And if you treat the person how you want to be treated, you'll always be respected in that way. And organizing an event is the same thing. You bring out your experience or how do you want to be treated in front of you, and that is how you treat all your attendees at that point in time as well. So these are the top 3 tips that I would give to any aspiring organizer. And if you have your team and you have like so many people to guide you, like you have your Salesforce veterans out there in the community who are ready to help you out. So utilize them and make connects with them, sit with them probably for 15 minutes and get their pick their brains for what are the top 10 things that someone must do or not do. So that way you'll definitely get more experience.
Super fabulous. So, guys, I think people who are listening out there who have tuned in, right? So, we are YouTube live as well. So, if you are looking for organizing an event, first be an attendee, understand why do you want to do that, and be part of it. Go for it. Ask for help, and you'll be rocking it, right? So I think we can wrap it up with that note, Mitul, and it's been amazing. You were amazing today, and I really enjoyed talking to you here. I hope people take an inspiration that from you, that a person who is more a no code, low code kind of a person is now a founder of an organization, Cloud Consult. So go out, you can ask her for jobs as well. But more than that, enjoy the community. I would say spirit with her. Talk to Mitul. You can connect with her on LinkedIn as well and connect with us anytime. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mitul, for being here. I really loved hosting you, and hope we meet again soon in some other event. And I'm most welcome. Come to Pune and let's do something here.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me this lovely opportunity. And thank you everyone for joining in. And we'll connect soon sometime.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Have
Bye.
a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.